Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
You know, I've been watching with amusement as the Republicans run around trying to figure out what went wrong on Election Day. I think it's funny because the answer is right in front of their faces. They just don't want to admit it. Romney lost because he wasn't a conservative candidate, and the Republican establishment hates conservatives. It really isn't any more complicated than that. If they had only run a truly conservative or libertarian candidate, hello Ron Paul, all the people, and I would argue the majority of American voters who agree with those principles would have come out to vote. Instead, the Republicans were trying to out-Democrat the Democrats. Unfortunately, a significant portion of the voters who turn out to vote act like children of divorced parents, playing one off the other until they get what they want, with both parents spending more and more money on them in the hopes that they will love them more and thus give them their vote. The unfortunate thing is the Republicans are like some dysfunctional father. Instead of standing strong on principles, they participate in this, trying to outspend and outpromise the Democrats when the children they are trying to win keep yelling, "I hate you!" But they still don't get the message. If we only promise more, if we spend more, then they'll like us. No. They'll like you later when they are mature adults, when they realize the folly of their childlike behavior. But for now, you have to understand they are immature children who only respond to being spoiled. You have to stand firm and continue the education process, expecting more and more from them while giving less and less. Now, as they grow, they will start to mature and come around to the correct thinking. But for now, they are children wanting whatever they think will make their lives better. We do a disservice giving it to them, just like you do a disservice to a child in responding in that same fashion, giving them whatever they think is best for them when you know better. Almost half of this country is on some kind of government assistance. Half. That makes it pretty certain a number of people hearing my voice right now are included in that number. We cannot continue along this path, running up the debt and expecting someone else to pick up the tab. Hey, Republicans, when you run someone who is not materially different than the current president, how do you expect to win? Just look at Apple. When you go out and buy a new iPhone or iPad or whatever, if there are no obvious improvements or differences between the one you had and the newer one, well, would you go out and buy it? People buy if there's something different, if they can get something better. If there are no improvements, then why buy it? New and not improved. In fact, there is not much difference between what you have now and what I want you to buy. What organization other than government tries to sell you something like that? On the Democratic side, a lot of these people vote for Obama because they have been sold on the whole idea that the deck is stacked against them. Well, I hate to admit this, but the deck is stacked against them. Because in America, in order to prosper, we expect you to go out and work. And in reality, half of America does not want to work. They won't want to show up at work on time, work a full day, go home and do it all again tomorrow. They just don't want anything to do with that. And why? Because most people are going to take the easiest way out, not the hardest. That's just human nature. Unless we can get more of the people who don't believe in that way to turn out to vote, then this is the type of person we're going to have elected. Romney didn't even get the votes that McCain received. So he is worse than McCain? The Republicans also say they don't know why a lot of people stayed home and didn't vote. The answer is real simple as well. You cannot treat Ron Paul supporters like crap and then expect them to come out and vote. You know, the establishment thinks, well, who else are they going to go vote for? Well, idiots, they just won't vote or vote third party. You didn't expect that, did you? People aren't going to let you screw them over and then show up and reward you with their vote. These things have consequences. You cannot run roughshod over an increasingly major part of your party and don't think anything is not going to happen, that there won't be any repercussions. Oh, look now, they'll say, now you have Obama back in for 4 years. Well, let's say everyone who stayed home or voted third party went ahead and voted for Romney. Then what would the establishment have learned? Nothing, because their guy won. Look, they can't even learn the lesson when their guy loses as a direct result of what they have been doing within the party, ignoring the outcries for a true conservative candidate. To be honest, the Republican establishment doesn't want the conservatives and libertarians in their party. Do you ever wonder why they go out and work so hard to court the Hispanic and black vote without worrying about the conservative and libertarian vote? It is because they look at how those groups cling to the Democratic Party and they are jealous. Those types of people reliant on government for everything. The Republican Party establishment covets their votes more than the self-reliant and working people. It's like they identify with them more than they identify with you. They thought that no matter who they put up, we'd all show up and back their candidate by voting for them, even though we didn't like their guy. They thought we would hate the other one more. The conservative commentators have also been screaming and yelling about how you threw away your vote if you didn't vote for Romney or you voted third party, how you might as well have voted for Obama. No. If I'd voted for Romney, then I might as well have voted for Obama because they are practically the same thing. Hello, Romney care. Romney said it over and over. I even played it right here on this very show. I want to repeal and replace Obamacare. Not get rid of it. Not saying it was unconstitutional. He didn't have any problem with the government interfering in the health care of Americans. So all you conservative commentators who are so quick to throw Ron Paul and his supporters under the bus, what have you learned? In reality, probably nothing. Because you are clinging to Romney like he was the savior of the country when he wasn't. You were telling all of us that if we didn't vote for him, then we would be to blame for Obama getting another term. This is akin to blaming the store that gets robbed for being open. What? Because you put up a status to run against another status, I'm the one to blame for him losing? No. The Republican establishment is the one to blame for nominating an obviously bad candidate in the first place. Don't blame me for not voting for their incompetency. That's not my fault. In fact, all those conservative commentators who have been all over us this whole week, you were co-conspirators in trying to get the wrong person elected. We all sat out here and heard you make fun of Dr. Paul, saying he was kooky, his foreign policy was not based in reality. No, it was you guys and gals who were living in a fantasy world if you thought we would vote to put your guy in office based solely on the fact that he wasn't Obama. Every one of you commentators and pundits and advisors, you all knew about Romney care. You all heard Mitt's speeches, his unconstitutional goals. And you thought we would just sit out here, hold our collective noses, and reward you for picking such a person? Who is living in a fantasy world now? For the life of me, I cannot understand how some of these people have any radio show audience at all after the debacle that was this last election. And the fact they were marching along, backing this so-called moderate who is really a liberal. day after day, week after week, trying to sell us on this lemon of a candidate. Sorry. Unfortunately for you guys, we are starting to be heard, and after this election, our actions are starting to be felt. But even now, the Republicans still haven't learned anything. It only took House Speaker John Boehner 24 hours to go from, we aren't raising taxes, that was on election night, to, hey, we're open to raising taxes, the very next day. To be honest with you, I had gone out and found the audio of Speaker Boehner, but after sitting in the official Patrick Riggins show editing room and listening to him drone on, I decided it was all just too boring to play on this show. And that's sad. Sad that I've lost patience with the so-called representatives in Washington and government in general, that I don't even want to listen to what they have to say. I don't want to hear the excuses and lies anymore. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your time. You know, that's why I don't have politicians on my show. I'm not going to sit here and listen to how they're going to reach across the aisle and pass something unconstitutional or work with the president to ensure they pass common sense legislation that, again, is unconstitutional. Do you people in Washington understand the Constitution represents the law of the land? Yet you expect me to sit out here and cheer and congratulate you for ignoring it. Anyway, we're up on another break. That's how quick this show goes by. So we've been smacking around the Republicans' Romney a little. So next up, it'll be Obama and the Democrats. We'll talk a little bit about them after this break coming up. This is the Patrick Riggins Show, and I'm Patrick Riggins, along with Tori, playing us a little music there. Who is that? I can't remember who.
Gordon Lightfoot.
Gordon Lightfoot, that's it. He also sang Edmund Fitzgerald, right?
Yes.
Yes. All right, this is Patrick Riggins, a little trivia that no one cares about.
I do.
Yeah, Tori does. We'll be back after these messages.
Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs.